if you're a content creator, then this is the specific interview that you need to watch right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tarun Show. And I am really happy today that I am having the founder of the Think School along with us. Welcome, my brother Ganesh Prasad over here. Welcome, buddy. How's it going?
Thank you so much for having me in the show, bro. And this intro in itself is a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah,
And
sure.
it is, as usual, a pleasure to always keep speaking to you.
Oh, great, great, great. For all those who are watching this interview, who don't know you, might not be knowing you, a brief introduction for all those people, a brief introduction.
Okay, so I am the founder of the company called Think School. And Think School is all about just one thing. We intend to put a dent in the Indian education system. And the way we do that is by doing countless things. Every single YouTube video that we put out, every single Instagram post that we put out is all about filling the gaps that the Indian education system has failed to fill up. Right now, we are doing it in two ways. That is, number one, by teaching people the super skill of communication. And the second way in which we're doing it is by telling people as to how to use LinkedIn, how to use monster.com, how to use naukri.com, which are the utility tools which I believe every professional needs to learn how to use
Yes.
so that they don't have to go looking for the jobs can come looking for them. So as of now, that's what Think School is all about. 5 years down the line, God knows we might start a school altogether.
I really hope for that. I really hope for that. Now everyone knows that you are a trainer now, and you told me in a personal conversation with phone on a phone that you have trained many public speakers, people who used to come on TED talks. You have trained all those
Mhm.
people. So I want to know how did this thing happen? What was your journey? How you turned into a trainer?
Okay, so I studied in this college called Pimpri Chinchwad College of Engineering. All right, it's a B grade college. वो देखा जाए तो it's not one of the IITs or any of the colleges which even to come close to being in that league. All right, and when I was in that college, I was completely frustrated with the way it was functioning. I ended up being in the civil engineering department for some reason. Don't ask me why I opted for it. But then when I sat in the class, I understood that यहाँ पे कुछ भी काम की चीज नहीं हो रही है. And by the time I came to second year, no, then this whole thing got very, very frustrating. So I thought we need to start something by ourselves. So when it comes to mechanical engineering, these people already had a club wherein they used to build their own car and take it to competitions. When it comes to computer science students, they had something called Robocon, wherein they used to build a robot and take it to competitions. But civil engineering के लिए कुछ भी नहीं था. So I kind of struggled a lot to find out whether the competitions exist for the civil engineers, only to find out they don't. So you know what? I thought let us start our own team, and then I applied for the TEDx license straight away because one of my friends organized a TEDx event. So we attended an interview from someone in California for the first time. We spoke to a Firangi, okay, and then we got the license. And after I got the license, I got a team of 7 people. The 7 people ka team got extended to 42, and then that is how we formed the TEDx team. So
Okay.
now we are supposed to organize a TEDx event by calling in 7 to 8 speakers who will represent the TEDx community from our college. That's TEDx PCCOE. And here's where many speakers came in, and we had the opportunity, or I could say, rather, we had the credential to call people and invite them for an event. And when it comes to TEDx, it has got a brand of itself, right? So by default, थोड़ी सी इज्जत हमको मिलती थी because we were the
You
licensed.
cannot play with the name of TEDx.
Yeah,
You
we
can take
cannot
it.
play with the name of TEDx.
Yes.
So people started to respect us a lot. But leveraging on that respect, what we did was we tried to give the best assistance possible to every single speaker who came to the TEDx event. We did cutting edge research on what's happening in the society to practically work on redefining the thought process of our audience. You can even check out the talks on YouTube, and you will see that 18 minutes, या शायद some talks are even 10 minutes, but 10 minutes का जो talk है, not a single sentence in that talk is useless. When we did that, and when we saw the attendees walk out of the auditorium after 1.5 years worth of effort, 8 hours down the line, when people started to walk out of the auditorium, they said, you know what, this day it gave me a completely new perspective to life. And that feeling, and fortunately I was the host of that conference. When I stood over there on that stage, I realized what it is like to have the power to transform the way people think. And that's where I said, yeah, zindagi mein kuch karna hai, so we have to do this only, that is transform the way people think.
That is
And that
amazing,
is
man.
how my journey started. So we
That
did
is
another
amazing.
TEDx event, and then I got a call from the president of Reliance because I had a very, you could say, bold phone call wherein I told him that in his speeches, I think it could be better. So he did not get
Call to action
offended.
was
He
missing.
told me,
Call
tell
to action
me,
was missing.
yeah, call to. I told him that your speeches are very motivational, but इसमें ना एक हाथ दो call to action missing है. So he said, tell me what is it, and I sent him a research. So he said, this is great. Why don't you come over and do an internship over here, acting as consultant to the people over here? And that is how my journey started, wherein I went to Reliance, worked in the president's office, acting as a consultant, and I was mentoring, you could say, Navy commanders, former Navy commanders, brigadiers of the Indian Army, to tell them how should they represent themselves in such a way that they can transform the way people think. So from TEDx, it went to Reliance, and from Reliance, I thought, you know what, now it's time to start your own company. And here I am, 1 year down the
That
line
is
with, you could
amazing.
say, 16,000 odd ka family of Instagram followers doing an interview with
I
you.
would link your channel. I would link your website. I would link all your handles in the description. You guys can go follow him and learn from all the things that he's providing for free. And his आपका एक program भी है, I guess, right? You can enroll for that as well if you
Yep.
want to develop your personality and get his personal mentorship as well, right? Now,
Thank you so much for the
this
shout out,
this
man.
no problems. You are coming on the show. That is for free. Along
Okay.
with that, this particular interview is for all the content creators. I want all the content creators to learn something very useful, because I've seen the content that you produce is so much on point, is so much value adding. Whenever I watch any of your videos, be it 5 minutes long, 6 minutes long, after completing that video, I feel yes, I am fulfilled with some value. I have got some value addition in my mind, in my life, right? वो 5 मिनट मेरा वेस्ट नहीं हुआ. बट आई हैव
Mhm.
सीन मेनी ऑफ द कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स, आजकल कंटेंट क्रिएशन का जमाना चल रहा है, दे आर क्रिएटिंग कंटेंट, बट दे
Hmm.
डोंट एग्जैक्टली नो व्हाट दे नीड टू पुट आउट इन देयर कंटेंट.
Right.
मोटिवेशन के नाम पे लोग अपनी कविताएं गा रहे हैं, या फिर लोग मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर बनना चाहते हैं, दे आर टेलिंग स्टोरीज ओनली. सो इट डजंट हैपेंस लाइक दैट. I want to ask you, what
Hmm.
are the three major mistakes that people do generally in content creation
Hmm.
journey, and they should be avoiding all those mistakes? What are the three major mistakes in your opinion?
Okay. The first mistake is that people don't read. उनको लगता है कि YouTube में हम वीडियोस देख लेंगे, उसमें से हमको ज्ञान मिल जाएगा, और उस वीडियो को देख के हम और एक वीडियो बनाएंगे जिससे हम और लोगों को ज्ञान देंगे. That's not how content creation works. Okay. So if I have to be on Spotify, all right, I am going to see what exactly is the problem that I'm solving for my audience. And the answer to that may or may not lie in the information that I already know. So it is, I think, the job of every content creator to first start reading, gather a ton of knowledge, and ye surface level knowledge nahi, in-depth
In-depth
knowledge
knowledge.
from the best books in the world, whichever domain you belong to. You might belong to finance, then I would suggest, you know what, read Anil Lamba's Flirting with Stocks, read Anil Lamba's Guide to Personal Finance, and read 10 other books like that. Get to know about personal finance well, try and apply certain practices in your life so that you know that अगर अनिल लांबा भी कुछ बोल रहे हैं तो उसमें से भी कुछ valid है, कुछ अपने life में valid नहीं है.
Yes.
So the first mistake is they do not develop a deeper understanding of the subject by not reading. And that is the reason why I would say first start reading, pick the best 10 books and start reading for that. The second mistake that people make is they do not improve their communication skills. All right. Now, with all due respect, in this world today, talent is not appreciated. And the one reason why talent is not appreciated, one of the major reasons, is because talent is not portrayed in a way that it can be appreciated.
Yes. Agreed.
Okay. दोनों में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है. You know, you may be talented, but that does not mean that you'll be able to portray yourself as a talented person. Okay. So this portrayal, one of the major ways in which this portrayal happens is communication. And I know people who are very knowledgeable, but they never focus on their communication skills because they believe that knowledge is enough. That's the second biggest mistake that people are making.
Yes.
All right. And the third biggest mistake that I would say is they do not study their audience. Now, there are people who know a lot of stuff. There are people who also speak well. But you know what? Just because they do not understand what is the problem that they're solving for the audience, they end up speaking something that is completely irrelevant. Okay. For example, see, yesterday I read this book by Anil Lamba which says Romancing the Balance Sheet. But that doesn't mean tomorrow I go on my channel and I start bombarding my audience with information related to finance. Even though I'm well read, even though my communication is good. Why? Because it is not going to give my audience any kind of utility value. So ये तीन पैरामीटर्स अगर तुम्हारे फुलफिल हो रहे हैं अच्छे से एंड यू कैन बी कंसिस्टेंट विद द रीडिंग हैबिट, इनमें से एक भी चीज मिस हो गया तो यू कैन नॉट बिकम अ गुड कंटेंट क्रिएटर, राइट? You need to read great books, you need to be a great communicator, and
Would you
you
like
need
to
to
give some
understand
examples of some good content creators who are famous right now, who are applying all these
good
things?
content creators? As of now, I would say there is this channel called Coffee Break.
Okay.
All right, Indian YouTube channels, very few of them actually add value to you, and most of them are just motivation.
I believe
Okay.
Vivek Bindra is one of them who's doing really great.
Okay, so when it comes to people like Vivek Bindra, again, there is an illusion that these channels are amazing channels. Okay.
Okay.
But if you look at it, they still belong to level 2, and there are still channels on YouTube which belong to the level 1 category. Okay, and let me just explain to you what do I exactly mean by that. There is information and there is knowledge. Okay, information is दुनिया में ये सारी चीजें चल रही हैं, that is Vivek Bindra. Okay, knowledge is this is happening and this is what you need to do, and this is what FitTuber does. FitTuber is very beautifully, he puts forward the call to action, simple and amazing. Okay, now he might not be speaking like Shashi Tharoor, all right, but you know what, he doesn't have to. FitTuber, he puts out content which is valuable and he consistently reads. That's the reason why he's able to make so much amount of content.
You know what I believe is, personally, there's a तराजू, ठीक है, तीनों चीजें हैं, तीनों चीजों को आपको बैलेंस करना पड़ेगा. If one of the thing is less in you, आपकी communication skills उस level की नहीं है, ठीक है, many of the people are not that much fluent, but you can increase your knowledge to some extent जो कोई touch नहीं कर सकता. At that point of time, you become undefeatable.
Right.
So this is what I believe. I believe Ranveer Alabadia is one of them who's doing amazing.
Ranveer is doing a great job. He's in fact one of my inspirations because, and again, like I said, if I say he's my inspiration, that does not mean I'm a big fan or something like that. Okay? I am a fan, but not a bhakt. Okay, and it's maybe again, there's a very thin line. Ranveer Alabadia, if you see, on one side he puts out great content, but when it comes to Hindi ka channel, you wouldn't call it great. That's not Ranveer Alabadia standards. Right? If you see closely, you will see that Ranveer is so awesome on podcast. Ranveer is so amazing on his Beer Biceps channel, but Hindi, not really. So what I need to learn from Ranveer is how to be Ranveer Alabadia on Beer Biceps. What I need to unlearn from Ranveer is how to not be Ranveer Alabadia from the Hindi YouTube channel.
What I believe is he has not been that much used to of speaking in Hindi. उसको आदत नहीं है ज़्यादा हिंदी में बात करने की. He is not having that great Hindi वाला accent. So that's why he's not that fluent.
It's not about communication. It's not about communication.
Okay.
It's about content that wherein he says that how to flirt with, how to flirt.
Okay. So the kind of content that he's creating. Okay.
Yeah. On one side, if you say that you're an extremely spiritual human being, okay, that's fantastic. But on the exact same time, if you put out content wherein you say, flirting,
I got your point.
and everything.
Sure.
That's not good. It's not following. It's not consistent.
I totally agree with that.
And people like Ranveer, they belong to a level which is next level. These people have the attention of the country. So big fan, but still I will not follow everything. Certain things, well, everybody has imperfections, so that's completely fine.
I want to move on to the next question from you. Like, what would be the 3 tips you would give to content creators? We have talked about the mistakes that they are doing. So how they can improve it. Okay, we have talked about what, but now we want to talk about why, and more of some tips which content creators can use. Maybe they are creating content on different platforms and stuff. What is your take on that?
The first thing would be to follow TED.com. Okay, they're present in every platform, YouTube, podcast, everywhere. When you follow TED.com, you understand what it is like to create world-class content. It's truly world-class. Okay, for the ardent followers of TED, it is not surprising that the pandemic happened. Okay, I'm talking about the followers, not the organizers of TED. I'm talking about the followers of the TED because it's a very close-knit community. Okay, you look at every single talk on TED. You know what? The reason why you believe that my channel provides value without wasting time is because I am an ardent follower of TED.
Okay.
मुझे टेड में इतना सुन के आदत है जहां पे कोई भी स्पीकर 1 मिनट में वेस्ट नहीं करेगा. So that's my first takeaway. Okay. Of 3 best talks that I would suggest is, number 1, it's Sir Ken Robinson, How Schools Kill Creativity. Number 2 is this talk written by delivered by Simon Sinek. It's called Why Leaders Eat Last and How Do Great Leaders Inspire Action.
Okay.
And the third talk is coming from Rory Sutherland.
Okay.
He's an advertiser. And if you look at his talk, in the next 15 minutes after watching his talk, your perception about advertisement is going to change from top to bottom.
So all these are available on YouTube.
All these are available on YouTube.
I would
And
link
the
all these
Indian-
channels in the description. I would link all these channels.
Yeah. Okay, do that. And the reason why these channels are something they are very important to explore is because the Indian audience is not used to TED as much as they are with people like Vivek Bindra sir or the rest of the people. Alright, जब तुम TED देखोगे तुमको समझ में आएगा यार, this is the level that you should be reaching, right? That's my first takeaway for the day. My second takeaway for content creator is go and talk to people. You just cannot sit. Content creation का मतलब ये नहीं कि तुम bedroom में बैठ के video बनाते रहो. Go and talk to people. Find out what are the problems in their life, right? After identifying the niche. I'll give you a very simple example. Right now I'm training 3 fitness bloggers. Okay. I'm training 3 fitness bloggers to speak well in front of the camera. These people have tremendous amount of knowledge. Okay. But you know what? When I ask them to speak about how they are different from the rest of the fitness bloggers, they really do not have an answer. The closest answer they come to is, you know what? I'm going to tell people the science of how the body works. Well, my question is, if you go and talk to people, you will realize that nobody really gives a shit about how the body works.
Yes.
They care about
much
how
more.
should I not exercise, eat delicious
And
food,
still
be in
look
shape.
cool. Still be in shape.
And
Yes.
still look cool. And most people do not care about being fit, they care about looking fit. My third advice is now how to do it. I'll tell you how to do it. There are 4 categories of audiences that you're going to have. The first category as a starter content creator. The first category is known. That is people who know you and people who know the content that you're putting out. Okay. The second type of audience is the audience that knows you but does not know the content that you're putting out. This is where your secondary social circle comes into play. Okay.
Yep.
The third category of audience is the one who do not know you but they know the content that you're putting out. These are the ones whom you're going to actually discover. यही तुम्हारे नए followers बनेंगे. ठीक है. और इनसे जब तुमको feedback लेना, when you reach 3,000 5,000 followers. Last category is people who neither know you nor do they know your content. Do not make content for them because they are not going to be involved anywhere in the process. So once you have this clear picture, you will be able to understand what content you're putting out. You'll be able to understand the impact, and most importantly, you'll be able to get feedback.
What would you say to all those people who value quantity over quality in content creation?
Okay.
I'm not a believer in this. I'm telling you.
Harsh reality is quantity works. You cannot deny that. Quantity works.
Okay.
But Gary Vee, I am an Adrian follower of Gary Vee. Okay? You can call me a Gary Vee Bhakt. Okay? I blindly follow him. बहुत सारी चीजें he says right and he says wrong. I follow it. I suffer the consequences also with it. He says work for 16 hours. I've tried working for 16 hours. Okay? Now, Gary Vee says that you put out more quantity and try not to compromise on the quality. Why? Because he says that what you might think is low quality might actually be high quality to a lot of audience because you're always thinking from the expert's perspective. But for a layman, that knowledge is very, very insightful.
I've learned amazing things. I've got some great ideas for myself and my channel, the Tarun Show, as well. And you'd see them in action in coming few days. And it was amazing to have you, brother, on our show. It was amazing.
Thank you so much, man.
I hope आप लोगों को बहुत सारी चीजें यार समझ में आई होंगी, देखने सीखने मिली होंगी. And I would request you all to please go and follow him, start learning from him directly. And yes, मैं सारे link कर दूंगा channels. And if you haven't liked the video yet, like कर दो, share कर दो, subscribe कर दो. Come on यार, आप लोगों का भाई का channel है. And that's all for today's video. I hope you found some amazing value.